Fernando Tatis Sr.'s 2 grand slams in 1 inning. On April 23, 1999, Fernando Tatis Sr. achieved the impossible at Dodger Stadium. In the 3rd inning against the LA Dodgers, the St. Louis Cardinals' 3rd baseman became the only player in MLB history to hit 2 grand slams in 1 inning, both off the same pitcher, Chon-Ho Park. Tatis first connected on a 2-0 fastball with no outs, launching it 450 feet into the left field bullpen. After the Cardinals batted around, Tatis returned with 2 outs and crushed a full count slider into the left field pavilion. His 8 RBIs in a single inning remain an MLB record. The Cardinals scored 11 runs that inning and won 12-5. The achievement seems almost mathematically impossible, requiring perfect timing, the lineup to bat around, and the bases to be loaded twice. Tatis hit just 8 career grand slams total, making this feat even more remarkable. The Buckner play. Bill Buckner's error in Game 6 of the 1986 World Series became the most infamous play in Red Sox history. With Boston leading the Mets 5-3 in the 10th inning, the Red Sox were 1 out from their first championship since 1918. But the Mets rallied to tie it 5-5, bringing Mookie Wilson to bat with Ray Knight on second. After a wild pitch from Bob Stanley, Wilson hit a slow grounder to first base. Buckner bent down, but the ball rolled through his legs into right field. Knight scored the winning run, forcing Game 7, which the Mets won 8-5. Buckner, who had 2,715 career hits and won a batting title, became a scapegoat for the loss, despite the manager's decision not to use defensive replacement Dave Stapleton. The play epitomized the curse of the Bambino for Sox fans. Buckner handled years of criticism with grace, eventually receiving a standing ovation at Fenway Park in 2008. Derek Jeter's walk-off. On September 25, 2014, Derek Jeter authored a Hollywood ending to his Yankee Stadium career. The Yankees were tied 5-5 in the bottom of the 9th, setting up Jeter's final home at-bat. After Jose Perella singled and Brett Gardner bunted him to second, the 40-year-old Jeter stepped up with 1 out. On the first pitch from Evan Meek, Jeter slapped a grounder through the right side, scoring pinch runner Antoine Richardson. The walk-off single gave the Yankees a 6-5 victory over Baltimore. He finished his home finale 2-for-5, having driven in what proved to be the winning run earlier with a broken bat single. The moment was especially emotional, as Jeter had announced his retirement before the season, and over 48,000 fans witnessed history as the captain delivered one final clutch hit at the stadium where he played 20 seasons. If you enjoy these baseball explainer videos, consider leaving a like and subscribing. It really helps me out. Ichiro's throw to third. On April 11, 2001, in just his 8th MLB game, Ichiro Suzuki announced his arrival with one of the greatest outfield assists ever recorded. With Oakland's Terrence Long on first base, Ramon Hernandez singled to right field. Long attempted to advance from first to third, but Ichiro charged the ball and unleashed a laser beam to third base. The throw, later dubbed the throw by Japanese media, was so perfect that Long was out by several steps despite having a significant head start. The play silenced critics who doubted whether the 5'11", 175-pound Japanese star could succeed in MLB. Long himself even admitted he thought he'd beat the throw easily, having gone first to third on a similar play earlier in the series. Ichiro finished his rookie season with a league-leading .350 average, 242 hits, and Rookie of the Year and MVP awards. He recorded 122 career outfield assists, with his arm strength becoming legendary. The throw transformed Ichiro from curiosity to sensation overnight, proving Japanese position players could excel in America. Bill Mazeroski's Game 7 walk-off home run. Bill Mazeroski's Game 7 walk-off home run in the 1960 World Series is the only World Series Game 7 walk-off home run in MLB history. On October 13, 1960 at Forbes Field, the Pittsburgh Pirates second baseman led off the bottom of the 9th in a 9-9 tie against the New York Yankees. Facing Ralph Terry, Mazeroski took a ball before crushing a high fastball over the left field wall. The Pirates won 10-9, capturing their first championship since 1925. The moment was especially dramatic given the series context. The Yankees had outscored Pittsburgh 55-27 overall, winning 3 games by scores of 16-3, 10-0, and 12-0. Yet the resilient Pirates won all 4 close games. Mazeroski hitting just .320 with 11 homers during the season was an unlikely hero. The 24-year-old celebration, tossing his cap and being mobbed by teammates and fans, became an iconic image, and the home run ended Pittsburgh's 35-year championship drought and remains one of baseball's most memorable moments. Randy Johnson explodes a bird mid-pitch. In one of baseball's most bizarre moments, Randy Johnson's fastball collided with a dove during a spring training game on March 24, 2001. Facing Calvin Murray of the San Francisco Giants, the 6'10" Diamondbacks lefty unleashed a pitch that connected with a bird crossing home plate. The dove exploded in a cloud of feathers, creating an unforgettable moment. Johnson, who was throwing in the mid-90s, later said it happened so quickly he could barely process it, and PETA even briefly considered filing charges, but none were ever pursued. Johnson embraced the incident years later, using a dead bird logo for his photography business. The Diamondbacks would actually go on to win the World Series that year, with Johnson earning World Series co-MVP honors. Red Sox break the curse. The Boston Red Sox ended 86 years of heartbreak by winning the 2004 World Series, breaking the curse of the Bambino. After falling behind 3-0 to the Yankees in the ALCS, the Red Sox made history's greatest comeback. Dave Roberts' stolen base in Game 4 sparked the rally, with David Ortiz's walk-off homer capping it. Boston won 4 straight games against New York. In the World Series, they swept the St. Louis Cardinals 4-0, never trailing in any game. Keith Falk fielded Edgar Renteria's grounder for the final out, and Renteria wore number 3, Babe Ruth's number. The championship transformed the franchise's identity from lovable losers to winners. Key contributors included Ortiz, Manny Ramirez, Johnny Damon, and Pedro Martinez. The Red Sox have since won 3 more titles in 2007, 2013, and 2018, but 2004 remains the most meaningful for ending generations of suffering. The Steve Bartman incident. The Steve Bartman incident remains one of baseball's most controversial moments. On October 14, 2003, the Cubs led the Marlins 3-0 in the 8th inning of Game 6 of the NLCS, just 5 outs from their first World Series since 1945. Luis Castillo popped a foul ball down the left field line, where Cubs fan Steve Bartman, sitting in the front row, reached for it along with other fans. The ball deflected off Bartman's hands, preventing Moises Alou from possibly making the catch. Alou slammed his glove in frustration, and though no interference was called as the ball had crossed into the stands, the Cubs unraveled. Castillo walked, and the Marlins scored 8 runs in the inning, winning 8-3. And the Marlins would go on to win the series the next night. Bartman, a 26-year-old Cubs fan, was escorted out under security protection as fans pelted him with debris. The play overshadowed Alex Gonzalez's crucial error later in the inning. In 2016, after the Cubs won the World Series, they sent Bartman a championship ring, finally providing closure to the infamous incident. Armando Galarraga's near-perfect game. Armando Galarraga was 1 out away from baseball immortality when umpire Jim Joyce's blown call cost him a perfect game. On June 2, 2010, the Tigers pitcher had retired 26 straight Cleveland Indians. With 2 outs in the 9th, Jason Donald hit a grounder to first baseman Miguel Cabrera, who flipped to Galarraga, covering the bag. Replays clearly showed Galarraga beat Donald by a step, but Joyce emphatically called him safe. Galarraga's shocked smile became an iconic image of grace under pressure. After seeing the replay, Joyce was devastated, tearfully apologizing, saying, "I did not get that call correct." And the next day, Galarraga brought the lineup card to Joyce at home plate, and they shook hands to a standing ovation. The Cubs finally break the curse. After 108 years, the Chicago Cubs finally won the World Series, defeating Cleveland 8-7 in an epic Game 7 on November 2nd, 2016. The Cubs overcame a 3-1 series deficit, winning the final 3 games. In Game 7, they led 6-3 before Cleveland tied it in the 8th when Rajai Davis hit a 2-run homer off Aroldis Chapman. After a 17-minute rain delay before the 10th inning, the Cubs scored twice. Ben Zobrist's go-ahead double made him series MVP. The Cubs survived a Cleveland run in the bottom of the 10th, with Mike Montgomery getting the final out at 12:47 a.m. The World Series victory ended the curse of the Billy Goat, supposedly placed on the team in 1945 when tavern owner Billy Sionis and his goat were ejected from Wrigley Field during the World Series. Manager Joe Maddon's young team, led by Chris Bryant, Anthony Rizzo, and John Lester, brought joy to generations of suffering fans. The Cubs would become just the 6th team to win the World Series after trailing 3-1. Reggie Jackson's 3-home run game in 1977 World Series. Reggie Jackson earned his Mr. October nickname with one of the greatest individual performances in World Series history. On October 18th, 1977, in Game 6 at Yankee Stadium, Jackson hit 3 home runs on 3 consecutive swings against 3 different Dodgers pitchers. With the Yankees leading the series 3-2, Jackson walked in his first at-bat before connecting off Bert Hooton in the 4th inning on the first pitch. He homered again off Elias Sosa on the first pitch in the 5th, and in the 8th, facing knuckleballer Charlie Huff, Jackson crushed another first pitch to center field. His 5 RBIs powered the Yankees to an 8-4 victory and their first championship since 1962, with Jackson hitting .450 with 5 homers and 8 RBIs through the series, winning MVP honors. Only Babe Ruth had previously hit 3 homers in a World Series game. Despite conflicts with manager Billy Martin and teammates, Jackson delivered when it mattered most, forever cementing his October legacy. Don Larsen's perfect game. Don Larsen pitched the only perfect game in World Series history on October 8, 1956. Leading the Yankees to a 2-0 victory over the Brooklyn Dodgers in Game 5. The journeyman pitcher, who had an 81-91 career record, achieved immortality at Yankee Stadium. Using his no windup delivery, Larsen needed just 97 pitches to retire all 27 Dodgers. Mickey Mantle's solo homer in the 4th and Hank Bauer's RBI single in the 6th provided the only runs. In the 9th, Larsen retired Carl Furillo and Roy Campanella before facing pinch hitter Dale Mitchell, a .312 career hitter. On a 1-2 count, umpire Babe Pinelli called strike 3 on a questionable pitch, ending the game. Everyone knew they had just witnessed history, and catcher Yogi Berra famously jumped into Larsen's arms. The perfect game remains the only individual no-hitter in World Series history, and Larsen won the World Series MVP and Babe Ruth Award for his incredible performance. Joe Carter's World Series walk-off. Joe Carter delivered only the second walk-off home run to end a World Series when he connected off Mitch Williams in Game 6 of the 1993 series. On October 23rd at Toronto's Sky Dome, the Blue Jays trailed Philadelphia 6-5 in the bottom of the 9th. Williams walked Ricky Henderson, Devin White flew out, and Paul Molitor singled to put runners at first and second. Carter, who was 0-4 lifetime against Williams, worked the count to 2-2. Williams, using an unfamiliar slide step delivery, threw a fastball down and in, exactly where Carter liked it. The Blue Jays slugger turned on it, driving the ball over the left field fence. Carter's celebration, jumping and pumping his fist while rounding the bases, became iconic. The 8-6 victory gave Toronto its second straight championship, making them the first repeat winner since the 1977 and 78 Yankees. Carter's blast was the first come-from-behind series-ending homer. Bill Mazeroski's in 1960 came with the score tied. Carter hit 396 career homers, but this one defined his legacy. Willie Mays and the catch. Willie Mays made perhaps baseball's most famous defensive play in Game 1 of the 1954 World Series. On September 29th at the Polo Grounds, with the score tied 2-2 in the 8th inning, Cleveland's Vic Wirtz crushed a drive to deep center field with runners on first and second. Mays, playing shallow, immediately turned and sprinted straight back without looking at the ball. Running at full speed, he made an over-the-shoulder catch 425 feet from home plate, near the warning track. But the catch was only half the play. Mays instantly whirled and fired a perfect throw to second base, preventing Larry Doby from scoring from second and keeping the runners at first and third. The Giants escaped the inning and won 5-2 in 10 innings, sparking a 4-game sweep of the heavily favored Indians, who had won 111 games that regular season. The combination of the catch, throw, and game situation made it legendary.